Hello again, Salem. This is Bill, otherwise known as William Legault from Salem Digest, and we're here again with a Salem preliminary election candidate interview. The preliminary election is the 14th of September coming up, and we're coming to you not live, taped from Salem Access Television on Derby Street. And today we have Ward 7 candidate running for an open seat, Fran Riggieri. Fran, how you doing today?
Good morning, Bill. I'm good, thank you.
It's good to see you here. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
We're gonna reveal a little bit of secret here. This is Fran's second time coming in. We had to call some guys in again because we made a boo-boo, a massive boo-boo. But those things happen. We're gonna jump right in, Fran, if you don't mind. So, you've never run for office before?
No.
And especially not here in Salem.
Yeah.
Putting your name on the ballot is a big move, Fran. What motivated you to do such a crazy thing?
I've always been involved in the political process, going back to when we were children. Our parents would be with a candidate, and in those days they gave you a stack of pamphlets, and we would pamphlet three-deckers. I'm from Worcester, Massachusetts.
The home of the three-decker.
The home of the three-decker and the Seven Hills.
Yeah.
So early on, we were nurtured in participating in the political process. I like to say sometimes that every week, every time we pay taxes, we buy a ticket to the game, and it's good to be in the game and try to participate and have a positive impact in the process. So we started as kids, and then I've been involved ever since in the political process of from school committee to local councilors, mayors, even the House of Representatives, State House, and even the federal state senator, House congressman. In our area. So I've always, up and down the ladder, I've been involved. I take it as a civic duty. Here, I was asked to run. We originally said no. I say we, including Diane, my wife.
The sensible one in the group.
Exactly, this is not, taking it on is not an easy, it takes time, it takes thought. You gotta convince people of certain things and your issues and have good support to your claim or argument that you want to make on an issue. So I take it as a civic duty. I've been nominated. I want to thank everybody for who have signed my nomination papers. We had a good turnout in the rally. I've been doing some mailings. Here in Salem, I've been participating outside, being a politician or being part of the political elected here, from when they're building the baseball field at Salem State, and traffic calming. I live on 450 Lafayette Street. Very busy road, and we had some severe accidents, fatal accidents, and participated in getting the traffic calming measures in place there. So I've always been involved. This is my first time running. It's certainly interesting and fun. I've enjoyed every moment of it.
It's a different perspective from the candidate side.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that it takes, even as a candidate, but especially if you get elected, is it takes patience. And if you don't have a certain amount of patience, you serve a couple of years, your patience will grow stronger. So we're gonna jump right into question 2. You kind of segued a little bit into question 3, but we'll get to that eventually. Ward 7 has a very large segment of single-family homes. But it also has some multiple family homes, including 3 and 4 family homes along Jefferson Ave.
Sure.
Some sections of Lauren Avenue. So they're not a single family home bubble. You also got a big commercial district up there at one end, and then no real second commercial district. You got a couple of spots where you got commercial properties. Ward 7, for some reason, hasn't really been touched all that much by the big development boom. It's been touched, but not completely, not as hard as some other wards. Do you have any thoughts on what the upcoming development is going to look like or should look like? And that is specific to the South Campus of Salem State,
Right.
the St. Credian's property.
Right.
But ward-wide, what do you see as the development future of Ward 7?
7 is mostly residential. There's very little commercial properties even sprinkled in the commercial in the residential areas. If you look around, it's all basically the intersection of Canal and Loring Ave. So we need to give careful thought to introducing any commercial property into that area because it is heavily residential. Mostly residential. So South Salem is going to be sold by Salem State University sometime, I believe it's in the near future.
The South Campus.
South Campus,
Yes.
Harrison Road there. So we need to come up with concepts as to what we might think would be to the advantage of the common good in that space. We've done enough of the luxury, high-end condos in Salem, and I think big projects are something that imposes on single-family residential zoning. So we need to think about what we do there. I've talked to people in the ward. They're not much in favor of high-end condominiums with stores underneath and creating a commercial zone on that property. One of the concepts that has been talked about is about a elder village, if you will. It would be a place where if as we grow older, we're not into maybe the maintenance and keeping up of our home, and we want maybe to leave our home, but we don't want to leave Salem. Well, we have people, our bases here, your children are here, your grandchildren are here, all that sort of thing. And you don't want to leave, but you're at your home, but you doing simple chores sometimes as an elder are very difficult. I have a 99-year-old mother. God bless her. She's in great health. She's living in Florida. My sister is down there. They live in a community. They have a community center, a swimming pool. They meet. They have functions. It's more of a neighborhood for the elders. Elders have, like everybody at different ages, we have different needs. And one of the biggest needs that is important to the elder is being social. When you're in your home and you can't get around so well, maybe you're not even driving anymore. You then become isolated. We don't have a place for elders to go in Salem. We have the community center, but you got to get there. Okay, in a village, and I'm referring to the one we built on Bridge Street, down by Boston. Okay, still got to get there. Yeah, we have vans, but in this kind of a setting, you would have a community center and be able to hopefully walk to a center and have visits with neighbors. Maybe you're just going to walk across the way to your neighbor. I have an uncle on Diane's side, an aunt down in Georgia. It's a 55 and older community. They sit out in their driveways. It's quiet, I think some green space is important in a environment for elders where they can have maybe Japanese garden, very well groomed, a place to go and sit and ponder and have a quiet time outside of their home in fresh air.
And that location would certainly serve that well.
Yeah. And so that sort of thing. But then we have the building, the school building. It seems to be in pretty good shape. I mean, how do we incorporate, do we really want to knock that down and lose that building? What would we do with that? I'm not quite sure. Could that be part of the community center for the elders in a village environment. Maybe in the back along the Forest River there, that the estuary is there. So you can use that estuary to groom and have green space and quiet. You get the attraction of your birds and the wildlife to enjoy and sit and enjoy as an elder. We don't have that space in Salem. It isn't here. I think the last we talked, it was Bixby came up. I'm not sure how Bixby does there.
Brooksby.
Brooksby
Village. You seem to be describing something along those lines.
Yeah.
Public money could probably never support that in its full concept, but you talk about that school building. You could have a space for social meals. You see a movie,
yeah, exactly.
Lectures.
They have a beautiful
a
theater.
mini senior center.
Yeah.
And it could serve as a model maybe to build others elsewhere. But the question which we didn't get into the last time is nowadays it seems the trend when it comes to these kinds of buildings and facilities is to use public-private partnerships. Now, if you're going to do that, and it really seems that's the future for this kind of housing, how do you see that playing out? Do you go, private money's going to want a profit margin?
Yeah, private-public funding is a concept that is currently used in Salem. There is a group who is charged themselves with the duties of economic development in Salem, and they do couple private and public funding for building luxury condominiums, high-end condominiums, and a certain percentage goes back to the public. That's not the concept that I have vision on. It's more perhaps you could get funding where you get some kind of subsidy as an elder to be able to get into a place like this. On the front end of the planning, we'd have to look at the economics to it. Could we support this with some private building and then some public funding to support it? I don't have the answer to that, but the thing that makes it work, will make it work, is front end planning.
Right.
If we do the front end planning on financials, then we would be able to maybe bring that together and get some of our government funds, which are our funds to begin with. It's a matter of how you want to spend them. You've got to get your state and your federal guys and ladies involved, your elected representatives, and see, maybe they have to present a bill to start a change. We can think outside the box. We don't have to think inside the box. Patience. When you start doing that stuff,
it takes a lot of patience.
It takes a lot of patience.
So, something else that ties into not just the ward issues, but the senior housing issue, the affordable housing issue, is the density throughout the city.
Yeah.
Now, Ward 7 has a couple of dense areas, but not like some other areas. But if you were going to build a senior village there, and maybe do something similar at Pioneer Village or Leafwood Terrace, how big does it have to be? I mean, I think the days of these single level or double level units, I think that those days are done. So how big do you have to go? How many units are too many? It depends on the space.
Well, when you take Harrison, the Harrison Road area, it's a large parcel. It's a big parcel. Some of the units I've seen down south are single level, and single level is more conducive to the elder who wants to live on a one level space. The good news about that is we don't need a lot of space. What do you need? Maybe an extra bedroom? You don't need that 3-bedroom, 4 baths, everybody running crazy in the morning to get out of the house, kids got to go to school. It's a slower pace. We can have smaller units and maybe more units in space than large units. Rainbow Terrace is a very nice layout. Very nice layout that was created, as you know, for the veterans.
I had an uncle that lived there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people who live there, I go through Rainbow Terrace a few times now and have conversations. People are happy in there. They like living there. Okay, they're concerned about what's going to happen in that space because there's been rattles about the school taking it. So, they're uncomfortable with that. They feel like, we're living, but we're around the corner. Our lives may be interrupted. So they're a little unsettled on what's going on in there. So I think smaller units, and I'm not one of the big building thing. I think density lends itself to deteriorating the quality of life, makes living a lot more difficult. In the sense that, it's always crowded, there's always traffic, there's always people. And again, I look to the elder side of things in development. What are we doing in the social fabric of this development that we're in density? Our current administration likes density. They, in their economic plan, from those who charge themselves with it to our current administration, the word is we're going to have density. And density, to me, I don't like density. I'm one who likes to keep what we have and make it the model. Make people want to live in Salem. Police officers, the social fabric, the school system, the fire department, all of these threads to the social fabric we need to make. We're having a hard time getting police officers. We're having a hard time getting, we're building density. Density brings a lot more social needs to support the density. The DPW, I hear rumbles about we can't get equipment to repair our streets and the water system and the rest of it. Yet we're building density, and we're building, and developers and everyone's making money, but the social fabric is not happening. And as an elder, we need a good social fabric in this town, and that's kind of what my new vision, to improve the vision. You say, why do you run? I think we can improve the vision in this city. The problem right now, I think, is that the current administration is fixed in on what they want to do, even to the point where they're saying we can add to our homes for an in-law apartment, and now not only can you put an in-law apartment, you can rent it.
You can rent it out, yeah.
Density, again, bring more people into a smaller space. Salem is a small town. We're only 45,000 people. It's not a big city. We don't need the density. We need to make Salem a beautiful place to be. We're on the Atlantic Ocean, okay? We're working in the Willows, okay? Trying to make it better. It's a great location. We have spaces like that are wonderful places to be. Is it Waikiki Beach is over there? Great spot on the open Atlantic. I love it.
I've always known that as Unemployment Beach.
a lot of people take a rest there.
There you go. So let's segue into another issue that density brings and the development brings.
Yeah. And
also just modern culture brings, because everybody has a car. A lot of people have more than one. Ward 7 basically is it's the Gettysburg of Salem. You've got 4 main entrance corridors basically converge in one intersection. Lafayette might be off to the side, but it ties right into Loring, and you got Canal right there in Jefferson Avenue. That's a lot of big roadways in there. What are your thoughts on how to best address and mitigate the traffic, not only in the ward, because it's not just a ward issue, it's a city issue, and it's a regional issue. Do you have any thoughts on that? And do you support a more regional approach to traffic?
Regional is is a natural because we have state roads. 114 is a state road.
107.
107.
1A comes through.
1A comes through. So regional is definitely a natural fit. Paul Tucker, Joan, they play their part in the maintenance of the roads. And plenty of times we have to appeal to them at the state level to do certain things. Maybe we're going to need, we need crosswalk improvements on these state roads. The one at the 114 at the end of the bike path, talking with the people in Sunset.
That's a hairy spot.
Oh my goodness!
That's right at the base of the hill going into Marblehead.
And
right.
people see the flashing lights, but it just blows my mind. It just totally befuddles me that somebody will try to pass on that. And a person will be walking across the street, a car is going to pass, actually cross over the yellow line, onto the other side of the road, head into Marblehead. Well, you're going to get hit. It doesn't only happen once. It happens a lot. And they're talking in Sunset, they want a traffic signal, unmistakably.
A pedestrian signal?
A pedestrian signal where it'll stay blinking green when nothing's happening, okay? But when when you hit the button, instead of just getting a blinking caution light for crosswalk, you're going to get an actual traffic signal, unmistakably green, yellow, red. Red means you're not going anywhere, so please stop. That's more effective than a blinking light because I don't know, for some reason, people are always on the move. You know, we got to move. Everything's like, I got to get there now. I got to get it done.
Everybody's in a hurry.
Everyone's in a hurry.
Except for those tourists walking down the middle of the sidewalk.
And the elders. We're not in a hurry anymore. So, we need some state funds because those are not inexpensive traffic signals. We need to appeal to the state for that. Maybe it becomes a regional, state, and federal, state and local funding project that we can improve our crosswalks. We've done some good work. That intersection that we referred to in the beginning of the traffic segment here, from where we were to where we are right now, major improvement.
It's a huge intersection.
Yeah, it
provides shelter for pedestrians when they get to the middle. You're not just standing on the yellow line.
That's right.
You've got a little curbing, you've got a little oasis there to catch your breath and make sure you're not going to get flattened.
Because those crosswalks are long otherwise.
They are.
And we have that problem with crosswalks. The one at Preston Street over on Jeff, even the one at Doobies, and then the one at Station Road. Those three are still very long. Station Road probably the most dangerous because it's on a curve. You can start out on that, and it could be clear. Okay, you can be out in the middle of that crosswalk, and traffic will come around the corner.
They don't know you're there.
And they don't know you're there. And the way people are moving today, too fast, okay? You might have somebody get hit right in a crosswalk. So there's all those improvements that need to be made. I know that we've done a lot of traffic calming, local traffic calming.
A lot of experimental testing traffic calming also.
Yeah, and you wonder who came up with some of them, you know? I think the one we talked about before was the Swampscott Road at First Street.
That roundabout is functional and it works well.
That's a beauty. That one works so much better than what we had before.
Slows that truck traffic down tremendously.
Slows the traffic
everybody down.
In general down.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. Another thing we could be doing is public service announcements somehow to educate people, drivers, on the density that is in town. And please slow down. Give each other a break. If you be looking to give somebody an entry point so that they don't get frustrated and pop out in front of you. Oh my God, my house coming out of my driveway area is like the traffic's piling down out of Marblehead and piling into Marblehead. And like sometimes if you don't catch a spot, you're gonna wait there forever. And occasionally you get a person who stops, and it's nice. You know, if you're in somebody's neighborhood, look, if they're coming out of their driveway or a road, give them a break. Let them out.
Well, it's respect and consideration for each other.
A little
which
bit of
is-
compassion for one
Sure.
another, sure.
Any thoughts on any of the other traffic mitigating efforts and tests that we're doing? The multiple bike lanes.
Yeah, the bike lanes are good, although they're underused. And we put some in places that I don't think I heard any positive on the Wilson Road, even Jackson Street. People are kind of down on those too. But you know, let's give credence to what is working, and let's modify what needs to be improved. And again, it's a better vision to take things that we've tried. You know, in marketing, they'll teach you no idea is a bad idea. You got to try it. You don't know if it's going to work. And I get that. But if you try it and it's not working, for example, on Wilson Road, you can't pull over for emergency vehicles. Can't sweep the streets. So if you look to the gutters, they're starting to collect debris. Okay? People don't like it. Wilson Road, if you could, I don't know if you get a biker on that road. Very few.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I used to bike Highland Avenue every day when I worked up on Swampscott Road.
Yeah.
Almost year round. Which,
Yeah.
That was back. There were no bike lanes back then. So let's touch now on the city council
Yep.
and the mayor's office.
Yes.
But specifically on how important do you think it is for the 11 members of the city council to be able to communicate clearly and politely with each other
Yeah.
and civilly,
Yeah.
both on the council floor
Yeah.
and off the council floor, in order to get things done? And the same question applies to the communications to and from the mayor's office.
Yeah.
The council to the mayor and back. We seem to have lost our way on how to communicate civilly for good purpose.
Yeah. I think it's essential to point to the leadership. You got to have good leadership. Leadership, if on the council we're having a communication problem, the leadership has to embrace that problem. And by that, you know, there's so many different subject matters that we're talking about in council, in the mayor's office, and that you have a disagreement, okay, in how things should be implemented or taken on, or should it be an initiative period? You know, some people want to even allow an initiative on the table. Initiatives should go on the table. To me, they're in marketing an idea that may or may not improve. What is the common good is more what the topic needs to be. How does what we're going to do impact the common good? And that begins with the leadership needs to think of the common good more. The council needs to think of the common good. What is the impact on our elders? Density. What is the impact on density? On children, school systems, all of these things. So it's the leadership that needs to bring the council and the council leadership, the president, the mayor. Too many times it's we're going to do what we want. We're going to the way we see it, not the way you see it. No matter what you say, we're still going to. We don't even care if it's for the common good. We're just going to do it because we believe in density. We believe in big buildings, luxury condominiums, bringing in people from the outside to live here, which is great. But what about jobs? Okay, there's a big discussion now about how do we create jobs in Salem versus do we continue to convert residential, commercial properties? Okay, it's a big argument. Converting business zone in industrial properties to residential and building on them. Those are arguments that need to be had. To me, in the common good, bringing jobs so that people can have better jobs is what we need to do. Yet we're taking property and converting it. I don't know how to bring that together and how you can get an agreement on it. Perhaps you're going to give some here and you're going to get some here, because isn't that what we're supposed to do? Look at, we have 10 properties that we want to convert, okay? And the other side says, well, on those properties we have 5 companies we can put in there, okay? Or we need time to bring in companies to put them in there. So you march on with the 5 that you might want to give up, yet you hold the other 5. Get in the middle. Bring people to the middle and listen to one another, and then concede what's good on one side, concede what's good on the other, and together we come and we get a resolution for the common good.
Compromise.
Compromise.
Which this country was built on.
Compromise.
Sometimes for good purpose, sometimes for not so good purpose, which had to be corrected later.
We're not getting that compromise. Yeah. On a lot of levels of government.
I would not argue that for a second.
So it's compromise, and we need to learn how to do that again.
So what is your top priority? You could even give top priorities for the ward itself.
Yep.
Sum that up for us, if you would. And also for the city itself, because as a ward councilor, you don't just represent your ward.
That's right.
People lose track of that.
That's right.
Every vote that you make doesn't just affect your ward. And there are sometimes as a ward councilor where maybe you need to put the needs of the entire city over your ward. It happens.
Yep.
Priorities for the ward, priorities for the city as a whole.
In the ward, we need to listen to the people who live there. Traffic is one of the biggest, and the other one is development. Those are the two, we hit on them earlier.
Right.
Those are the two majors right now in Ward 7. Because no matter where you live in Ward 7, it's traffic. And in South Salem, on South Campus, Salem State, that's going to be a big project. That's not a small project. That parcel is huge. So those are the two two important parts that we need to focus on in the ward. And I think we need South Salem Neighborhood Association is a good association. People attend the meetings. That can be a vehicle for communication on what's happening in the ward. And then in that, I would suggest that we need to have a smaller advisory council. And I think that some of that's there in place. Now, COVID knocked a lot of things out. We need to come back in and start having our meetings, especially with the new projects going on, in trying to bring a resolution to mitigate our problems and make life better. We're not getting a better life in Salem. When we talk density, I'm sorry, I don't agree with density. When Dibble came and he was planting trees, I said, Steve, I don't want any more trees. I want every tree that we have groomed and looking wonderful. I want the aesthetics of Salem. I don't want weeds growing all over the place. I want my wall nice and clean. It's an entry corridor. Okay? That's what I want. I want Salem to be pristine. Storybook look, where people want to come here. Police officers want to work here because we support them. We have a good fire department. The safety factors, okay, all in the ward and all throughout the city. That's what I like to see.
And that's a good vision.
Well, thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's going to close this one out, guys. We are here with Fran Riggieri running for that open seat in Ward 7. The preliminary election is the 14th of September.
Yep.
That's coming up pretty quick. I hope you guys are going to vote. Your vote's your voice. You owe it to yourself to vote. You owe it to everybody else to vote. civic duty, Fran said earlier. If it's not your civic duty, maybe it's a civic obligation. So thanks a lot, Fran. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, Bill.
We'll come to you with another candidate very soon, guys. Thank you very much. We're signing off.